Hi, Rhonda here. What we're doing today is just a supplement to a blog post that we did the other day on modernoracletarot.com. It's in the Tarot Bites blog page. So if you click the blog tab at the top of the homepage on modernoracletarot.com, it'll take you to the most recent post. And the Modern Oracle Toolkit about pendulums should be one of the posts that's close to the top of the list. Neither this supplement nor that blog post will make you an expert at using a pendulum, not by any means. But the Toolkit series of posts is just additional ideas, additional tools, things you can use to enhance your tarot practice and enhance your intuitive work overall. None of this, not the blog, not any of these supplemental posts, none of these videos, nothing is intended to certify you to read for other people, but it's meant just to be self-help ideas, just a little personal enrichment for you. And as always, none of this predicts the future. It's all about personal development and spiritual expression. And today, like I said, is about the pendulum. Personally, it's not a tool that I use a lot. I never use it in reading for other people, although some people do. I have seen some very skilled Reiki practitioners use pendulums in getting information about the chakras, which are different energy centers in the body. So pendulums can be very, very useful, especially in skilled hands. Personally, I use it just for me. Like it says in the blog post, pendulums are best for you talking to you getting at subconscious information, things that you may already know or kind of have an idea about, but kind of lurk just below the surface. You can't quite put it into words or can't quite get your head around the idea just yet. Pendulums are good for helping those sort of things. Some people use them as a means of communicating with spirit. It's up to you how you decide to define that. Sometimes that internal knowing is a little bit easier to comprehend, to grasp, to kind of, like I said, get your head around. If you think of it as a conversation with other, which is something we do every day and understand very easily. So if you think of that knowledge in terms of a conversation with a guardian angel or a spirit guide or a crossed over loved one, something in those terms, sometimes it makes it a little easier to get at those ideas that you need. And the pendulum is a very good tool for that kind of conversation. It's good for conversing you with you, in other words. Other people tell you different, but that's my take on it. As always, I take a very practical approach to things. For pendulums, you don't have to buy a special pendulum. You can if you want to. I have a fantastic brass metal one, and I can't find it. One of the things pendulums have been used for is for finding lost items. So they should jerry-rig a pendulum and go looking, I suppose. But personally, I've never had much luck with that kind of, it's called dowsing, when you use it to find something. Just like dowsing rods are used to find water. Dowsing with a pendulum can help you find things, or at least it does some people. I personally have never had much luck with that. Also, it's very good for kind of yes-no questions, very much akin to what we do with the Zombie Cat 3-card tarot readings on my site and over at the Etsy shop, Cork and Flotsam. But today I'll just give you a brief look at what I do for myself. Whenever I don't have my trusty, rusty, dusty metal pendulum, sometimes I'll just use a necklace, or any weight at the end of any string will work just fine. Here I have a necklace I just recently made from a piece of blue kyanite I bought from one of my favorite local museums over at the Carnegie Science Center in Pittsburgh. And there's instructions on YouTube if you want to just make a hemp net like this. You can make a necklace out of any stone that you like. But anyway, you can use any necklace that you have as a pendulum, or like I said, any weight will do just fine. The key to it is connecting your understanding and your connection with the universe to include the weight in the pendulum itself. Sometimes you'll hear that called programming the pendulum. I personally like to clear the pendulum, energetically speaking, by waving it through some smoke or giving it some Reiki, sprinkling some salt around, whatever your spiritual practice is to clear negative energy from around a pendulum. That's always very helpful. In this case, earlier before starting this video, I gave the necklace some Reiki. That was my choice for today. Although, because I'm a fan of incense and aromatherapy and things that smell nice, I'll often use the incense smoke and sort of smudge the pendulum. When you program a pendulum, basically you're setting your intention for your reading with the pendulum and your interacting with the pendulum. I personally think it's important to start with setting a general intent that this is a protected activity, that your intention is only for the loving, highest, and best, that you do not permit any negative energies or entities to be a part of this practice. So, just by saying that, I've set my intent to that for this demonstration video. The second part of programming, after you set the general intent, is to set up a language. It's kind of like a glossary or a vocabulary in a way, so you can translate what your subconscious is telling you through the pendulum. So it's a Rosetta Stone. Think of it that way. Pendants and pendulums just aren't really chatty, so you're pretty much limited to yes, no, and maybe. Different people do it different ways. They include different things, particularly with circles. I personally like to program to up and down for yes, because you can use the mnemonic. Think of it, if you're looking at somebody and they're nodding their head yes, that's the direction you're going to see it. So again, that makes this into a conversation that we're accustomed to and a symbolism that we're accustomed to. So that makes the whole pendulum process a little bit easier. Same thing for no. If you program it to go side to side, think of it as looking at someone's head, and if they're shaking their head no, that's the motion it would make. So it's a very normal, natural, easy thing to do, to program a pendulum to be up and down for yes, just like someone shaking their head yes, side to side for no, just like someone shaking their head no. And so what do you do if it goes in a circle? Well, I take that as a magic 8-ball kind of maybe. You can add some granular detail there. Some people will think that if it circles clockwise, that could be taken as a positive, like a soft yes, or maybe leaning towards yes. If it circles counterclockwise, some people will take that as a soft no, or a maybe leaning towards no. But, you can make any symbolism you like for any of those basic movements that a pendulum is able to make. So set up whatever significance you like, but whatever you set up, stick with that through the entire session, or you're going to confuse yourself and get like wonky readings that will make no sense. When you're using a pendulum to find lost items, an easy way to do it is to draw a map or a grid or a picture of your house or wherever you have a wild guess the lost thing might be. For my pendulum, I know it's in one of 3 rooms, if it's anywhere in this house at all. So, like I said, I'm very skeptical of that particular technique. I've never had any success with it, but we'll give it a go here again today. So when you're using a pendulum, I don't know if you can see from this angle, but the important thing is to use just 2 fingers, hold it very lightly. If you're using a necklace, you can either take the pendant off and clip it to the clasp at the end. But the important thing is just to hold it lightly and have it hang straight down. If you're going to use both parts of a necklace like this, it helps if they're a little twisted together, but definitely hold them tight together. You don't want them spread apart and hold it like this. It'll work, but it just doesn't seem to come through as clearly for me if you do this sort of thing. So holding it close together is helpful. So just hold it like this, and then if you have a paper or a grid or something, or even just over a plain table, set your intention that this movement means yes. Stop for clarity. This movement means no. Oops, getting a little circular there. This movement means no. And you're deliberately moving it. The pendulum's not moving it on its own. There's no spirit anything going on right now. This is just pure physics. So this is you connecting your mind to an object in the world around you to help you gain mental clarity. So yes, no, and then maybe. And when I'm thinking of the maybe circle, I make it big deliberately to get that very clear in my mind, the difference between the movements. So maybe, no, and yes. So that's programming it. You would ask your question, hold it, and see what happens. Okay. So, and then you could just have a whole conversation of yes/no questions to kind of get your head about whatever problem is top of mind or whatever's on your mind, and just work it through in a quiet time on your own. For the dowsing part of this that never works for me, what you would do, like I said, is you make a map. And I would hold the pendulum over the part of the map where the lost item might be. Oh boy, this isn't a good way to film this. But, maybe you can see better this way. But I would ask if it's in room number 1. And here, and I'm not deliberately making any movement at this point in time. I'm not terribly steady. So take this with whatever grain of salt you like. You can see it's all over the place. So you can take that as, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know. Room number 2 is the metal pendulum in this room. Again, not a lot of volitional control over that, but I would read that as a no. Is the pendulum in room number 3? Maybe. That looks a little circular to me. And you can see my thumbs moving around a little bit, so it's hard to hold this the way my arm is at the moment, so you can be able to see it on camera. It's a little hard to hold this still. But again, let's do this on purpose. No for room number 1, maybe for room number 2, and let's make it a yes for room number 3. Just as an example. If you wanted to use your dowsing to narrow your search, then start in room number 3 and concentrate your search there. That's the value. That's it. That is the value dowsing has in finding a lost item, in my opinion, anyway. But that's what the pendulum stuff I was talking about in the blog post actually looks like. Please go read the blog post for more details, and just refer to this video if you need a visual about the whole yes/no circle map thing that the post talks about. But thank you so much for your attention and time, and please feel free to visit the massive archives of tarot readings, tarot questions, tarot essays, the whole library of information that's available on modernoracletarot.com. The Tarot Bites blog is available at no charge, and there for your enjoyment, please subscribe so you can get all the latest posts. I'm also at quirk _and_ flotsam on Instagram. There you see all the pictures of new items from my Etsy shop, Quirk and Flotsam, on Etsy.com. And I'm available on Facebook and Twitter. Twitter is @ModernOracle. So please stop by, say hi, and stay tuned to the Modern Oracle YouTube channel, because I do hope to be putting up a lot more posts to supplement the blog, and some things that stand alone too. So thanks again for listening, and we'll see you around the internets. Bye-bye.